Walk through any parking lot in America and count the Sierras. Most of them have at least 3 illegal modifications. The owners know, the cops know, and nobody says a word. 10 Sierra mods, all technically illegal, all actually work. One carries federal fines, one costs $50, and the last one changes everything. Let's go. Quick note, laws vary by state and country. You're responsible for knowing what's legal where you live. This is educational content. Now let's get into it. Number 10, window tint beyond the legal limit on your Sierra. Every Sierra crew cab has massive rear windows that most states allow you to tint as dark as you want. The fronts are where it gets illegal. Most states cap front side windows at 35% visible light transmission. California and New York are stricter at 70%, and most Sierra owners tint the fronts to match the rears. 20%, 15%, sometimes 5% limo tint across everything. Here's the Sierra-specific detail. The Denali and AT4 come from the factory with privacy glass on the rear windows, but not the fronts. That mismatch looks wrong. So, owners match. And the moment they go below the legal limit on those front windows, it's technically a violation. Why they do it anyway? Ceramic tint from 3M Crystalline or XPEL XR Plus blocks up to 60% of solar heat coming through the glass. On a Denali with the panoramic sunroof, that's a greenhouse of glass above your head. The difference is enormous. Cabin temperature drops. A C doesn't struggle. UV protection keeps the dash and leather from cracking. Here's the enforcement reality. Most states treat front window tint as a secondary offense. They won't pull you over for it, but they'll add it to the ticket if they stop you for something else. Some southern states have functionally stopped enforcing it altogether because every third vehicle on the road is tinted past the limit. The cops gave up, the tint shops didn't. Cost: $200 to $500 for full ceramic tint on a Sierra. Ticket: $50 to $250, depending on state. Most owners consider it the cost of comfort. Every Sierra in the South has it. Every cop in the South has it on their personal truck too. Number 9 sits right next to it in the popularity contest. Number 9, an aftermarket LED light bar on your Sierra. The Sierra AT4 and AT4X already come with factory off-road lighting provisions. But owners want more. 20 to 50-inch LED bars mounted on the roof, behind the bumper, or tucked behind the grille. Sierra-specific, the 2019 and newer Sierra has a grille design that perfectly hides a 20-inch LED bar behind the mesh. Clean install, invisible during the day. At night, 10 to 30,000 lumens of raw white light that transforms dark roads, job sites, and trails. Legal off-road and on private property. Illegal on public roads when illuminated in every state. Some states require covers over the bar anytime you're on pavement. Rigid Industries, Baja Designs, KC Highlights, $150 to $800 depending on size and output. Wire to a separate dash switch, covers on during road use. That's how every smart Sierra owner runs them. Legal in every ditch, field, and trail in America. Illegal the moment your tires touch asphalt. Number 8 is the one every Sierra View 8 owner has thought about at least once. Number 8, a muffler delete on a Sierra 5.3 or 6.2. The 5.3 with no mufflers sounds like a proper V8, raw, aggressive, mechanical. The 6.2 with no mufflers sounds like a muscle car that happens to have a truck bed. Both are objectively louder and mechanically harmless. Your catalytic converters stay in place, your emissions equipment stays intact. Here's the Sierra-specific angle. Denali owners do this more than any other trim because GM tunes the Denali exhaust for luxury. Quiet, refined, barely audible. Owners buy the Denali for the interior and the 6.2, then immediately delete the mufflers because they want the V8 sound without the Denali whisper. Let me be specific about the sound difference. The 5.3 with a muffler delete has a raspy, high RPM bark. It sounds busy and mechanical. Not bad, but not refined. The 6.2 with a muffler delete has a deep, low-frequency rumble that smooths out at cruise and barks under throttle. The 6.2 sounds expensive without mufflers. The 5.3 sounds loud. If you're doing a muffler delete on a 5.3, pair it with a resonator to take the rasp out. $50 more for a dramatically better tone. Cost: $100 to $300 at a muffler shop. Cut the mufflers out, weld straight pipe. Takes an hour. Fully reversible. Bolt a muffler back on before inspection if your state requires it. No measurable power gain, no power loss, just sound. Technically illegal in all 50 states under noise ordinances, but enforcement varies wildly. California enforces at 95 decibels. Most states, $100 to $500 ticket if someone complains. $100 to hear what GM's engineers designed and then silenced. And number 7 is the one most Sierra owners don't even realize is technically illegal. Number 7. Running oversized tires without speedometer recalibration. The most common Sierra mod in America, 2-inch level kit plus 33-inch tires on the stock 20-inch wheels. Looks great. More ground clearance, better stance. And your speedometer now reads 2 to 3 miles per hour, slow at highway speed. Here's the thing, the Sierra AT4 comes from the factory with 33-inch tires and a calibrated speedometer. The SLE and SLT with aftermarket 33s do not get recalibrated. Your dash says 65. You're doing 67 or 68. Your odometer is also underreporting every mile, which means your service intervals are longer than you think and your mileage records are inaccurate from day one. Technically illegal in most states, knowingly driving with an inaccurate speedometer is a vehicle code violation. Tires extending past the fenders without mud flaps violates splash laws in many states. The fix, a $50 to $100 speedometer calibration tool, corrects it in minutes. Most Sierra owners never bother. Your speedometer says 65. You're doing 68. And your odometer is lying about every mile you've driven. Stay with me here. Number 6 is the most harmless mod on this list, until it isn't. Number 6, running extended tow mirrors while not towing. The power-folding tow mirrors on Sierra Denali and SLT trims extend outward for trailer visibility. Flip them out, and they add 6 to 10 inches per side. Many Sierra owners run them extended permanently. The look, the visibility changing lanes, the statement. Illegal in several states, mirrors extending beyond the widest point of the vehicle without a trailer attached violates federal width limits, 102 inches maximum. A Sierra crew cab with extended tow mirrors pushes past that. Ticket, $50 to $150. Rarely enforced on its own, almost always a secondary item added during a stop for something else. The real risk is physical. Tight parking garages, drive-thrus, and narrow lanes will eventually claim a mirror. The mirrors that make your Sierra look like it's always working, even when it's picking up groceries. Now, number 5 is where the consequences change entirely. Number 5, DPF delete on the Sierra 1500 3.0 Duramax diesel. The 2020 and newer Sierra 1500 with the 3.0-liter Duramax inline 6 comes with a diesel particulate filter, DEF injection system, and EGR, all emissions equipment required by federal law. Some owners delete all 3, kit plus tune, $1,500 to $3,000 installed. Let me be very direct. This is a federal violation under the EPA Clean Air Act, not a state law. Federal. Individual civil penalties up to $5,000 or more per violation. Shops that perform the work face $5,000 per vehicle. The EPA has been actively pursuing enforcement since 2020. Why Sierra diesel owners do it? The emissions equipment is the most failure-prone system on the 3.0 Duramax. DPF replacement runs $2,000 to $4,000. DEF system failure, $1,000 to $2,500. EGR problems add another $800 to $2,000. Deleting removes the components most likely to fail and most expensive to repair. Fuel economy improves 10 to 20%. The engine runs cooler. And here's the resale complication nobody mentions. A deleted diesel Sierra is harder to sell legally. In emission states, it won't pass inspection. Private buyers in non-emission states will buy it, but at a discount because they know it can never be registered in California, Colorado, or any state that tests. You've limited your buyer pool and your resale geography with one modification, the mod that saves you thousands in repairs and costs you thousands in fines if you get caught. Federal law doesn't negotiate. Quick thing. If this list is making you count the mods on your own Sierra, you're not alone. That's the whole point. Drop a comment, How many of these 10 are on your Sierra right now? And hit subscribe. I break down what works, what's illegal, and what the actual consequences are every single week. No sugarcoating, just the truth. Let's keep going. Number 4. Smoked or blacked out taillights on your Sierra. The 2019 and newer Sierra has those distinctive C-shaped taillights, a design signature for the truck. Many owners smoke them with tint film or spray for the blacked out look. The AT4 and elevation trims already come with darkened housings from the factory. Owners push them even darker. DOT requires taillights to emit red light visible from 500 to 1,000 feet. Any tint that reduces output below that threshold is illegal everywhere. Light smoke is enforced inconsistently. Full blackout is illegal in all 50 states. VHT nightshade spray, $8 to $15 a can. Pre-cut tint film, $30 to $80. Professional application, $100 to $200. Quick, cheap, and dramatic visual change. Here's why this one is different from every other mod on this list. Every other mod mostly affects you. Smoke tail lights affect the person behind you. Reduced brake light visibility in rain, fog, or dusk means the driver behind you reacts later. And if you're rear-ended with tinted taillights, insurance can argue contributory negligence. That's not a ticket, that's a claim denial. The mod that looks clean until someone rear-ends you and their lawyer asks about your taillight visibility. Number 3 gets louder, literally. Number 3, an aftermarket exhaust that exceeds state noise limits on your Sierra. Catback exhaust systems from Borla, Flowmaster, and MBRP on the 5.3 and 6.2 are some of the most popular Sierra modifications in existence, and many of them exceed the 95 decibel limit that most states enforce. Sierra-specific, the Borla ATAC on a 6.2 Sierra measures 98 to 103 decibels under wide-open throttle. That sounds incredible. Deep, aggressive, unmistakably V8. It also exceeds legal limits by 3 to 8 decibels in states that test. Here's the brand breakdown for Sierra owners. Flowmaster Super 44 on a 5.3, aggressive, classic American V8 rumble, louder at idle than Borla, tends to drone on the highway. Best for short trips and around town. Borla S-Type on a 6.2, deeper, more refined, minimal drone at cruise, aggressive under throttle. Best for daily drivers who want tone without fatigue. MBRP sits in between at a lower price point. Loud, effective, but less refined than Borla. California increased the fine for modified exhaust to $1,000 for the first offense. Other states range from $100 to $500. Inspection states will fail you if the exhaust modification is visible or measurable. Here's the Sierra-specific sweet spot. The Borla S-Type on a Denali 6.2. Deep tone at cruise, aggressive under throttle, and typically stays under 95 decibels at the specific RPM and distance that enforcement uses for measurement. Not quiet, not illegal, right on the line. Cost, $500 to $1,500 installed for a quality catback on a Sierra. The line between sounds like a V8 and sounds like a violation is about 3 decibels and one cop having a bad day. Number 2 sounds harmless until you think about the physics. Number 2, speed limiter removal on your Sierra. The Sierra 1500 with the 5.3 is electronically limited to 98 miles per hour. The 6.2 is limited to 112 to 116 depending on tire speed rating. Both limits are imposed through the ECU. A handheld tuner or custom calibration removes or raises these limits, typically bundled into a broader ECU tune, not done as a standalone modification. Why Sierra owners care? In states with 80 mile per hour speed limits, the 5.3's 98 mile per hour cap leaves minimal margin. 6.2 owners on track days or open highway feel the electronic wall, and some owners simply believe that if they bought the truck, they should control what it does. Here's the reality. A 5,400-pound truck at 120 miles per hour has stopping distances measured in football fields. Factory tires rated for 112 at 130 is a blowout waiting to happen. The limiter isn't protecting the engine can handle those RPMs. It's protecting everything else: tires, brakes, suspension stability, and the occupants. The speed limiter isn't protecting the engine. It's protecting GM's lawyers. What you do with that information is between you and your speedometer. And number 1, the modification that changes more about how your Sierra drives than everything else on this list combined. Number 1, a full ECU retune on your Sierra 1500. HP tuners, EFI Live, Diablo Sport, Super Chips, a complete rewrite of the factory calibration, timing maps, fuel delivery, transmission shift points, throttle mapping, and the disabling of AFM or DFM permanently through software. Here's the Sierra-specific breakdown by engine. On the 5.3, 15 to 30 horsepower gain, sharper throttle response, firmer, faster transmission shifts, AFM or DFM disabled permanently through the tune. Not a plug-in, a full software rewrite. The torque management that makes the throttle feel lazy under part throttle acceleration, removed. On the 6.2, 25 to 40 horsepower with supporting intake and exhaust. The 6.2 wakes up with a tune. The throttle becomes direct and immediate in a way that the factory calibration deliberately softens. On the 2.7 turbo, this is where tuning makes the biggest difference on any Sierra engine. 40 to 60 horsepower with a boost increase on 93 octane. The turbo platform responds to calibration changes dramatically. The factory tune is conservative. An aftermarket tune lets the turbo do what it was engineered to do. And here's what most people don't realize. The tune also transforms the 10-speed transmission. Shift firmness increases. Shift timing sharpens. The gear hunting on hills that plagues the 10L80 in stock form disappears because the tune adjusts the TCM calibration simultaneously. One tune fixes the engine and the transmission. Let me describe what a tuned Sierra feels like from the driver's seat. Before the tune, you press the gas from a stop and there's a half-second delay. The transmission shifts soft, almost lazy. You floor it to merge and the truck hesitates before downshifting. On a hill with cruise control, the transmission hunts between gears trying to find the right one. After the tune, throttle response is immediate. The transmission snaps into gear. Downshifts happen when you ask for them, not a second later. Hill hunting disappears because the shift logic holds gears instead of cycling. The truck feels like it lost 500 pounds and gained 50 horsepower. Owners who tune their Sierra say the same thing every time. This is how it should have come from the factory. Illegal because any modification to emissions-related calibration parameters violates the Clean Air Act. In CARB states like California, no aftermarket ECU tune is legal on any Sierra. In non-emission states, no enforcement mechanism exists. Nobody scans your ECU at a traffic stop. GM tracks the flash count on the ECU. Every rewrite increments a counter that doesn't reset. Warranty implications are immediate. But tunes can be returned to stock before dealer visits, and a flash count alone doesn't prove what was flashed. Cost: $400 to $800 for a quality custom tune on a Sierra. This is number one because it's the foundation. Every performance Sierra starts with a tune. Every mechanic's Sierra has a tune. The single modification that makes every other modification on this list work better. And the one GM has spent a decade trying to lock down. The mod that changes everything, the one every mechanic has, and the one GM wishes you didn't know about. 10 mods, all technically illegal somewhere. The range goes from a tint ticket to a federal penalty. And knowing the difference is what separates an informed Sierra owner from a surprised one. Your Sierra probably has 3 of these right now. Now you know which 3, what they cost, and what happens if the wrong person notices. If you want the mods that are banned by GM's warranty department but not by law, watch 5 banned Sierra mods your dealer won't tell you. For the modifications that are completely legal and under $500, watch 3 worst and 4 best GMC mods under $500. The owners know, the cops know. Now you know exactly what you're running. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.